I like to start engaging with the people in the room with a little icebreaker. This one's for Grant. He's going to understand why. So my name is Olivier Lemaignen, and most of you in the room have two certainties in life: death and taxes. I have three. I'm a father of 6 children, not the father of my 3 stepchildren. And after the 6, I realized I had a third certainty, which is that if I had another child, there was going to be a boy, his name would not be Philip. But think about it. For short, his name would be Phil Lemaignen. That's just way too cruel. All right, now let's talk about organizations and leadership. So we're talking about high performing. What does that mean to you? In your company as a leader, what do you focus on more or most? Is it your team, your employees? Is it your customers? Is it driving revenue? Is it all of the above? And the reason I put them in that order is this. I worked at Intuit for many years.
They have an equation for systems. And that equation goes like this. Employees, they're the driving force. So that's your differentiation. I'm different or better or more innovative than your competitors. How do you get that across customers to drive demand? Make them interested in
Understand the value you add. And then it happens organically. Then you have the impact, right? Your employees are pumped up about coming to work every day because you do things for them. Your customers are pumped up about using your products or your service. Revenue happens. So that's the last part of the equation. So I'm not a reader of slides, so I'll let you read. I'll just call out the areas in blue, because I believe in acronyms like OKRs and KPIs. You know, most of my career has been as a direct marketer, a direct response guy. So I live and die by results and metrics. And so it starts with having common goal. And it starts with surrounding yourself with people who are better at certain things than you are. That's a lesson learned from my dad. One of the many, but that's the one that stuck. The other ones I forgot. He started a PR company, not KCOM. So Sinan is not my dad. And one thing he imparted on me was, if you want to be successful, surround yourself with giants. So now I'm going to be, I don't know what other word to use to be politically correct, so but I'm French, so I don't have to be. But if you surround yourself with giants and people in the room who know more than you do, your company will thrive. If you want to be the smartest person in the room, or perceive that you are, and you surround yourself with dwarves, you've pretty much reached the top of the mountain. So think about that as you hire, as you use consultants, people you surround yourself with, advisors, board members. Pick people who are smarter than you are at certain things, just so that you can learn from them. And I love the love of learning and the humility of being able to say, I don't know everything, and that's okay. Collaborating effectively, I'm going to talk about that a little bit more, but in the interest of time, I'm going to move forward. So, as I said, I love numbers. So what's 75%? A study from Career Builder found that 75% of HR and hiring managers are more likely to hire and promote high EQ, so high emotional intelligence, employees. 85% emotional intelligence is actually the driver of financial success, not IQ. So how you treat people around you is actually going to help you be more successful. And nobody likes a-holes, right? We'd rather work with nice people who want to do good for you as well as for themselves. So why high EQ employees? Why are they different? Why do they appeal to senior leaders, to hiring managers? Handling pressure, right? We talked about courage. Sometimes that requires courage. They understand and cooperate others. Empathy, understanding that your goals are not any more or less important than somebody else's. They're good listeners. There's this great tool called the ladder of influence. Most people tend to be at the top of the ladder, and they talk about their conclusions, their beliefs, their truth. Being a good listener is also asking the right questions and taking people down their ladder to understand what data they are basing their conclusion on, what life experiences, work experiences, and then you get to, oh, now I understand why you believe that the blue button is better than the red button on the website. They're more open to feedback. They're empathetic. They care about others. And they set an example. I'm going to talk about role models in a moment. But what happens is then you have less drama, teams that work better together, and better results. So we've had some triangles already. So 2 types of leadership. Traditional perceived leadership is command and control. The CEO decides, everybody falls in line. Then you have the servant leadership, where the CEO enables, in a good way, the rest of the company to do the best work of their lives. And so support and development. Again, leadership unpacked. Perception is that the leaders are the top people in the company. I say perception, it still is the case in many companies. I like a different model better. And that is where you can develop leaders at all levels. Because that's where you scale the impact of having leaders all the way to the front lines. All right. So yes, the bad news is creating a high-performing organization with leadership at all levels is completely on you. You have to be intentional. You have to really mean it. Again, I talked about numbers. Declare your goals. Write them down. Have them on your desk. Look at them every day. Be clear with the rest of the organization about what matters. And role model the behavior you want them to display on a day-to-day basis. Learning. We talked about learning. That's why we're here today. We all want to learn, become better. That's really why I'm here today, to hear from all the bright minds. And I have no problem saying that I'm certainly not the giant in the room. There's plenty others, and I'm looking at all of you. And then data-based action. It's nice to understand what's good, what's working well, what's not working well in your organization. But if you don't act on it, if you don't have numbers you can share in full transparency with the rest of the organization, then why would anybody believe you that that's the priority to become better? And track it over time. It's going to change. It's going to evolve. Be transparent. Share back what you found. If somebody says, okay, you as a CEO, I don't trust you, address that with the troops. Say, okay, here's what I heard. I'm not being trusted. What should I do differently? And then rinse and repeat. You now have a system. And you can just have a framework that you can be transparent about with the entire organization and help them go through the same motions at every level of the company. All right, so some tips. Again, I'm not going to read the slide. I'll focus on the top. We're talking from A to B. If you don't know what your A is, how do you know where to go next? So that's assess the current state. There's plenty of tools out there to do that. Now I know there's another survey that can be used. But you have Myers-Briggs, you have DISC, you have your Strength Finder, and all those things are available for you to use for yourself and for your teams. And then I'll go to the last one, well, last two. Role modeling, and then truly being accountable and showing progress. So I'm almost done. No more French accent for you for the rest of the day unless you talk to me later. And you don't have to like the people I put on the screen, but I think those are powerful thoughts. And just for Sinan, please focus on the third one. Peter Drucker, well known, great mind. And here's the third one for Sinan. I had to mention Tucker. That was during the Republican party. Well, it wasn't so much of a party, it was more how they get together. And then lastly, and I highly recommend this, Noel Tishy. If you get his book, he has more than one, but The Leadership Engine gives you not only a narrative, very easy to read, even though it's this thick, but also a bunch of frameworks, so you don't have to start from scratch. It's all in there. So that's it. French guy's done. Please hit me up later if you have questions or if you want to just talk about Paris, and we'll take it from there. Thank you.